All right. Thank you so much for joining once again to Journey to Harmony. I'm your host, Richard Harmon. We have our friend of the channel, Ben Neal, back once again. We have a packed house in terms of topics today, and we look forward to bringing you some information. Ben, how are you today?
Fantastic. We had a great night. Uh, you know, we just talked about it before the meeting. Our football team is out here punishing people. Our kids are great. Life's good. Sun's out. Beautiful West Virginia morning. So everything's fantastic.
Definitely. It's a special time of the year. Like I think everywhere you turn, you see buses lined up. You see, I woke up this morning, I was coming back from the gym. There's a coach with a big, like, the football hats, those cats. So I'm like, yeah,
The big straw.
they're gonna choose someone out this morning. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So football's getting coached right there, baby. That guy knows what he's
yeah,
doing. He looked the part. At least you know something.
yeah.
Initially,
Oh
yeah.
wow.
My dogs.
Is he from West Virginia?
He's from a town called Farmville, Virginia,
Uh-huh.
and it is very, very much Appalachia. Same
Uh-huh.
same type of people. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, this is it's it's something big when people in finance and other genres are talking about the song overall. I think it speaks overall to a lot of people, whether you're from the streets of Chicago or you're from the back mountains of Appalachia. Everyone in particular can say that the government that they are expecting to be in place is not exactly handling things the way that they're expected to. And between Jason Aldean and Oliver Anthony, this is a call right now to a lot of the people in America in terms of the soul and where is this we are. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think this song's way better than Jason Aldean's song. I just the message is cool, but I just don't like his music. But Oliver, he does a great job of encapsulating, I think, everybody except for a few coastal elites here in this country.
Mm-hmm.
He speaks to the pulse, and he's not making outlandish remarks in his song. Feeding kids.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I getting taxed to death?
Yeah,
Why do I keep getting poor? Why these particular 0.5% of people keep getting richer?
yeah,
Am I just going to work till I die? I mean, he makes some really valid points that everybody in our neck of the woods, I'll call Middle America, you and I,
yeah,
the good working hard, yeah, you and I
yeah,
type of folks. He really does make a good point, and uh, hopefully the politicians that are only caring about minors. That's a great reference in that song too. That
Mhm.
will pay attention to this guy, and they won't because he's just another hillbilly from Appalachia. But it hopefully there's a voter wave. I don't care how you vote. I hope there's a wave of voters that vote for their interests as regular common Americans. I don't care which party. It doesn't matter to me. Just go vote. Make your voice heard.
yeah.
Talk all this smack.
There was a video of a woman who came online, and like I said, like it speaks to just what's going on right now, like between the cost of living and everything else that's associated with life. There's
Yeah.
so much there's so much trouble that's going on right now. People are really struggling, and everyone is frustrated. And this song, like you said, you wouldn't think that a guy from Appalachia would be able to connect with people in different parts of the country, but he's speaking to the soul of a nation. And black, white, Chinese, everyone
It
is
doesn't matter. Yeah.
I mean, number one on the billboards right now, I believe.
See the the great thing about music. You mentioned how it's black, white. Everybody feels the same. I was looking at the federal poverty guidelines, and for a family of two, so let's say a single mother, which we should also be addressing our high percentage of single mothers amongst us men. We should be
Mhm.
men and take care of our children, but uh, it's $19,000 a year. So you're telling me that if a single mother makes 20 grand, she doesn't qualify for government assistance?
Yeah,
But our senators are getting electric cars. Aren't you excited about that?
I was listening to a video this morning in terms of the electricity that will be needed. Just to power New York City alone would take like generators the size of like that's the size of like four of New York cities. Like it's such a ridiculous idea overall. That it's I think what in general what's happening. Someone wants to place a dog park where some apartment buildings are, and they're using a lot of This stuff, you know, like you said, the coastal elites, they're using a lot of this like climate change and stuff like that in it as a means of doing this. And if the population overall across the world is reduced, then there's an opportunity for it. But at the current rate of which the countries are growing, like it doesn't really make much sense. Like there's a whole lot going on, but just people are struggling in a lot of different places, you know.
You know, it's food insecurities in places like McDowell County, West Virginia.
Hmm.
There should not be food insecurity within the United States borders.
Yeah,
Okay, I mean that the song, the guy, our rent prices are 2 grand a month down. I don't know how people live in Florida. I
yeah,
don't know how people do it. It's outrageous, and there are a lot of people that are stuck because they can't afford to move, and there's nowhere cheaper to move to.
hmm,
And something's got to give, and if something doesn't give, I genuinely don't know.
yeah.
I couldn't give you an answer on if something doesn't.
It's wild because like you know I've been someone who preach a lot about you know starting business and things like that, but like it takes a shifting of the mindset and it takes time. A lot of people don't have that, you know. So it's if you have a skill, that's great. You know, just go ahead and use that skill between Angie's List and other opportunities. It's great, but man, this is a rough space overall right now that a lot of people find themselves in where they can't really afford to do anything. Like you said, you can't afford to stay and you can't afford to move. Either way,
Yeah,
you're kind of stuck. And you hear stories just around the country of people saying that, hey, my landlord gave me a bill telling me my rent was raised $600. I don't really know what to do, you know?
yeah. I mean, exactly. I mean, what are you going to do? A lot of people are fixed income salary workers,
Hmm.
and people that are paid hourly aren't paid enough.
Hmm.
And I'm genuinely concerned for people that make, you know, $17 an hour. Why is
Yeah.
$17 an hour a bad wage now? That used
Hmm.
to be 5 years ago. That was great money. I was
Yeah.
only 18, and if I heard that, I was like, I'm jumping on that,
Yeah.
right? And now I probably wouldn't work for less than 28, 29 an hour because you can't live.
Exactly.
Even
Exactly.
in places like West Virginia, that's the scary part. We
Yeah.
have some of the lowest cost of living in the country. We have the lowest energy price in the country by far, apparently,
Hmm.
and we are slowly getting priced out. I'll be fine,
Hmm.
but we are slowly getting priced out,
Yeah.
and I'm genuinely concerned for youth food insecurity, youth home insecurity, and if you have two insecurities like food and home, you're going to end up making very bad decisions
Hmm.
because you have to eat, and you're going to do what you have to do to eat. Your parents are going to end up making bad decisions because they have to do what they have to do, and it's just going to make prison systems more crammed. It's
Yeah.
going to make you know the health and human resources lines for food stamps or a check, whatever you want to call it, longer. And these are things that keep us underneath the thumb of the big man up top. It
Seriously.
sounds like I'm quoting some type of 1984 thing. I'm not being crazy here, I don't think. I've read 1984. It's kind of eerily similar right now.
Yeah, it's a whole lot, and in China, it's already been fully implemented in China. Like it's there's a whole lot going on right now. Let me play this video really quickly. Just video's been going
I'm
viral.
having a day. Or I'm having a life. I don't know, man. I just don't know what to do anymore. I'm sitting outside work, crying my eyes out in my vehicle. Because I can't function anymore. Financially, I don't understand anymore. I don't understand how I make $34 an hour and I can't function. I can't function. I can't pay my bills. I can't even literally keep gas in my car to get to work 3 days a week because I can't afford it. Like I get paid and it goes to car, mortgage, a couple little bills, and then maybe $80 in food for the week. And I literally only buy groceries when my daughter's home now. On the weeks that she goes with her dad, which is Monday to Monday, what I've started doing is I buy a loaf of rye bread and I work really hard to keep that one loaf of rye bread
Hmm. Yeah, the things are wild, man. You're on mute.
You can unpack a lot from that.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, the the thing that stuck out to me was the weeks that my daughter's at her father's.
Yes.
Uh, we have to establish a family unit. We talk about this every time we speak, man.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have to establish a family unit. Men have
Yeah.
to be men. People have to sort out differences before they have children.
Hmm.
You have to know if I'm gonna have a child with somebody, you ain't going anywhere, lady.
Yeah.
This is where we're at,
Hmm.
and because it creates situations like that. Now, I'd also like to know where this lady lives.
Yeah.
And we could talk about, she should have better spending habits, and somebody will go, oh, she has tattoos on her arm. I get it. I feel the same way sometimes about
Yeah.
people
Hmm.
making great money that don't have money.
Yeah.
But it's the reality. She's paying probably, I don't know, mortgage now they're through the roof interest rate wise. Gas is outrageous,
Yeah.
and if it's $34 an hour is now the bottom line, we're in a very very bad spot.
It's wild because like if like it's a rough thing to say, but if the Democrats are elected again, like they don't believe in pumping oil from America, and oil and the people in the Middle East have decided that they're going to cut their supply. So they're if there's no supply, prices will continue to rise. So that means you're not only the gas prices rising, the cost of your food at the grocery store has risen because they're paying a greater amount. The milk is more expensive, and then on top of that, like these corporations are coming out. There was another story came out. They're ready to start buying again. So they're going out and buying single family homes that will never come back to the market. So we're already at a reduced supply, and they're going out and buying more houses. Like that. This is while this relates to she may be in a high cost of living area in New York City or California. The idea of these companies buying these houses will eventually turn Middle America into New York City. Relationally, so you may be making $28 an hour in Ohio, but your cost of living is equivalent to someone who lives in New York City. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't need to give a West Virginia history lesson, but companies owning homes that you live in is never a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for Mother Jones and the UMWA for
Mm-hmm.
fighting a Cold War against the government and eventually ending coal camps and company script being legal. Uh, I don't know how companies like Disney get away with this because they're doing it down in Florida. It's a travesty. And the
Yeah.
second point, you were mentioning oil prices. I would love for the United States to realize that the people that did 9/11 are not our friends. I'm talking about Saudi
Mm-hmm.
Arabia.
Yeah.
Uh, they're not our friend, and they
Mm-hmm.
control the. If you look at the market share, they have an incredible market share of the mass oil in the whole world,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not our friend. And we should stop exporting things like wheat to them. Grow
Yeah.
wheat in the desert, Saudi Arabia.
Uh-huh.
Have fun.
It's a whole
And
lot of yeah, it's a whole lot of
they
craziness
got
going on
us.
right now. Yeah.
If we
It's
would look at South Dakota and
mm,
I mean, there's places here in West Virginia, especially with natural gas in West Virginia. I'm obviously biased to the state. We have massive oil reserves in this country. You go out to Utah, where there's fossils, there's oil,
yeah.
and we have all these fossils in North America. There's oil.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of you say like I think we have like 100 years. People are like, oh, you don't have it. And we have like 100 years worth of oil that's capable of being pumped. It's just like whatever options right now just aren't great. You know what I mean? Like where life was 3 years ago is completely different to where we are now, and the indebtedness that the country's in, it's rough. Like the whole world is so connected, and things that are happening are just wild. You know what I mean? Like there's been so much talk about China. We'll get into that in just a moment. But on some different news, I'm not sure if you heard, but UPS workers are now have the opportunity of making $170,000 a year. The drivers,
Ooh. Whoa.
yeah, yeah. Their new contract. They went from making about $40 an hour at the top top pay to about $49 an hour for their drivers. So every driver around the country, for the most part, will have that opportunity to be able to in that $49 an hour job, and they're normally working about 10 to 12 hours per week. So they're going to be caking here in a short period of time.
I want my packages, you want your packages. Somebody has to deem a value for them, and if
Exactly.
$49 an hour is that value, good. I'm glad
Exactly.
they decided that they were going to threaten strike.
Exactly.
Good.
Yeah.
Stop letting companies and the government beat us.
Yes. Yes.
Stop it.
It's interesting because, like you said, like it's they're calling this a rich session where those who are in offices are being laid off and those who are working on the front lines are being employed. There are certain jobs you can't offshore. Whether it's your package delivery, whether it's your plumbing, these workers are getting ready to make money right now. But society has told majority of people to not go into these jobs. So the pay is just going to continue to rise for those individuals. You're going to find plumbers who are making $500,000 a year working. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be wild.
See, right down the road, we have a contractors co-op,
Mm-hmm.
and it is just a great thing to go in there, drop your business card off. Contractors be like, there's a plumber, there's a data cable guy, shout out to the data cable, and the past conversations there. There's my electric guy, there's my sheetrock guy. Angie's List is great, and all these other online. Go to your contractors co-op, find it in your area, find one. Contractors love these things. They will find you. They will train you. They don't have anybody to work. They got to train people.
Wow.
So just go in there. Go. Hey, I'm young, strong. I'll come to work. They will hire you.
Yeah, it's like you said, like I think the numbers are coming out that young men at greater lengths are avoiding college altogether. You know what I mean?
Good.
Like men in general understand trends ahead of time. I remember a few years ago in the NFL where everyone stopped being a running back and everyone wanted to be a wide receiver. That they're like, you know what, I'm not getting hit and getting hit like crazy. So young men are seeing right now that college there's really no use for the most part unless you're being a lawyer, a doctor, or something like that. There's no use to really go to college. So they're not going into those fields, and it says that there's a growing divide between men and women. As women are continuing on into college, men are just going their opposite direction. And there's there's going to be interesting to see what happens where most women seem to be favoring the liberal agendas, and men are increasingly moving towards more of a conservative lifestyle.
Good. Good, man. Good. Become leaders in your community, leaders in your house. Make good money. Be tough. Make good financial decisions. Set an example for a generation that's behind you.
Mm-hmm.
For your sons, it's how to be a man, what you should do. Teach them things. If there's a father in this world changing oil without a son holding a flashlight, you're doing it wrong, buddy. So
Yeah.
make your son hold the flashlight. And as far as our females, we talk about all the time. We have an epidemic of single mothers. If we teach these young ladies what to expect from a man and have their mothers, who are self-respecting women, teach them how to respect themselves,
Mm-hmm.
we will be better off. If you have a
Definitely.
good, strong understanding of what you're looking for, life will be good.
Definitely. And it's weakening society overall. Somebody I watch on YouTube, they recently went to Europe for like a month, and they're like, there's no homelessness for the most part. Like, what I mean? And families are together a lot of times. It's so much different in comparison to what we see in America. And for a long time, I was always a proponent of, America's, it's great because there's opportunities, but as the more capitalism is pushing, the less together you see families overall, and kids are struggling as a result of it. So yeah, it's pretty wild.
The